They called him Aldric, the unyielding King of Valemont, a realm that once shone brighter than any other in the twilight of the 14th century. His kingdom sat between the warring empires of the north and the dying faith of the south. A land of iron and prayer, built on the edge of fear. Aldric was not born to rule. He was a blacksmith's son who forged swords before he ever held one. But when plague and war swallowed his homeland, the people turned to the man who shaped steel like clay. They crowned him with iron, not gold, because gold had failed them. And so began the reign of the Iron King. At first, his rule was just. He fed the hungry, built walls of steel that gleamed under the sun, and swore that no man or god would ever take his kingdom again. But power is a flame that eats its own shadow. The more he won, the more he feared loss. In the winter of 1351, Aldric lost his queen to the Black Death. They said he locked himself in the forge for 7 days. When he emerged, his hands were burned black, and in his grasp was a mask of pure iron. He wore it ever after. From that day, no one saw his face. He spoke little, slept less, and began building a fortress so vast that it cast its own night across the valley, the bastion of silence. There, he gathered philosophers, monks, and alchemists, demanding they break the laws of life itself. He promised riches beyond measure for one secret: how to defeat death. For years, the bastion's chimneys bled smoke that blotted the moon. Men whispered that screams echoed through the iron halls, but none who entered were ever seen again. And then silence. In 1366, a traveler stumbled upon the gates of Valemont. The city was empty, the fields untended, the wells dry. Only the bastions stood untouched, doors open, torches burning as if waiting. Inside, the traveler found no corpses, only statues of iron, perfectly shaped as if frozen mid-breath. At the throne sat a figure clad in black steel, head bowed, hands fused to the arms of his seat. When they pried open the mask, they found no face, only ash. The priests called it divine punishment. The scholars called it alchemy, gone wrong. But the people whispered that Aldric had succeeded. He had trapped his soul within iron, defying death, but losing his humanity. Centuries passed. The bastion rusted and crumbled, yet strange things continued. In 1592, miners digging near the ruins uncovered a sealed chamber. Inside was a heartbeat, faint, rhythmic, echoing through metal walls. When they opened the chamber, they found a single gauntlet resting on an anvil. The metal was warm, inscribed upon it, "If I cannot die, may the world learn why it must." The gauntlet was taken to Prague, to the court of Emperor Rudolf II, who was fascinated by the occult. Weeks later, the emperor's alchemist wrote in his journal, "The iron burns, yet it lives. At night, it hums like breath. We hear footsteps in the vaults, though no man walks there." The entry stopped there. 3 days later, a fire consumed the royal workshop. No remains were found, but among the ashes was a new inscription carved into stone. "The Iron King watches." For hundreds of years, rumors followed. Villages claimed to hear hammering under the mountains during storms. Soldiers reported seeing a black armored figure walking across battlefields when no side had yet won. And in 1914, during the First World War, a French captain wrote in his diary that he saw a man in medieval armor standing amidst machine gun fire untouched. When he shouted, "Who are you?" the man turned, lifted his visor, and replied, "A smith, still mending the world." Then he vanished into smoke. Even now, hikers in the Carpathian Mountains tell of metallic echoes under the earth, like a giant heartbeat. Archaeologists dismiss it as wind through caverns, but the locals call it the Sleeping Forge. Some say Aldric still beats within the iron that forged him, the living proof that no man can rule death without becoming it. And so his legend remains. He sought to outlast time, and time obeyed, but mercy did not. When we look at history, we see kings who conquered lands, but Valemont's Iron King conquered something greater. The line between man and myth, and maybe, just maybe, somewhere in the darkness of the mountains, the forge still burns.